Hi, I'm Rebecca from SimplePracticalBeautiful.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make a bread bag. The bread bag is made out of linen. This is my linen fabric here, and linen is great for storing bread. It's historically been used to store bread because it keeps it nice and crispy on the outside and soft and moist on the inside. And if you put fresh bread in there, pretty much any bread that's not sliced will stay really well inside a linen bag. So let's start by cutting out my linen fabric. First, we need to cut the fabric so it will be the right size. I want my bread bag to be about 12 inches wide, so I'm going to add an extra inch right here, 13 inches, so I have a ½ inch on each side for a seam allowance. And then cut the fabric. Off this very bottom part so I don't have this salvage edge inside my bread bag. It just looks neater and cleaner without the salvage edge. And then my bread is 12 inches square. So I need it 12 inches tall, but then I'm going to add a couple extra inches so I can have a nice hem at the top. It will fold down and hold my drawstring. So I'm actually going to make my bread bag 14.5 inches tall. So from here at this line. And now I have enough room I can fold this down about an inch, and then I can sew ½ inch all the way around. So before I do anything else, I want to finish off the edges because linen is a thick weave and these strings on the raw edges come off really easily, and I don't want these strings getting in my bread. So I'm going to do a zigzag stitch along the edge of my fabric to hold all these loose strings in so they won't come off inside the bread bag. You could also serge the edges if you have a serger. So turn to zigzag. And here you can see how the zigzag stitch has finished off the edges and really locked in those extra threads. I would like a design on my finished bread bag because I'm going to give it as a gift. So before I sew the bag together, I'm tracing the design onto the bag. Now I'm wood burning the design. Now I'm using my wood burning tool to make the design on the fabric. You can read more about using this tool in the link in the description below. The first thing I need to sew is the hem across the top, and I want it to be 1.5 inches deep, so there will be plenty of room for a drawstring to go through. So I'm making my 1.5 inch hem and pinning it. And then on the end, I need a ½ inch edge folded over, just so where the drawstring comes out, it will look nice. So there's my ½ inch edge, and don't worry about this. Right now we're just going to sew the hem across the top, but I need that ½ inch folded over so it will give a nice finished edge right here where the drawstring comes out. And I've done it on the other side also. So now I've folded the fabric in half and I'm sewing the bottom here and the sides together with a ½ inch seam allowance. But when I get here towards the end, you can see it would be hard to sew on that fold. So I'm going to sew as close as I can, leaving the fold there. And I think that's about as close as I can get. So now I'm going to back up and tuck the stitch in. Now my drawstring needs to be at least 24 inches to go around the bag, but my piece of fabric that I have left is only 20 some inches long. So I'm going to cut two strips and sew them together. To figure out the width, I want my drawstring to be about 1/2 inch wide, but I need 4 times that so I can fold it over and not have any raw edges showing. So I'm going to make it 2 inches wide. I sewed the 2 pieces of fabric together, ironed open the seam, and now I'm ironing this whole strip of fabric in half. And now I'm going to go back and fold one side down so that the raw edges are tucked inside that fold, and iron it down. And when one side is finished, I'm going to go back the other way and fold down the other side so that both raw edges are tucked inside. Now, an important thing to note is that linen needs to be ironed on the very highest setting. It can take a lot of heat, which is why it worked really well with the wood burner. So now I'm just sewing a straight seam down the middle of the drawstring. You'll notice here at the end I left my selvage edges on because I think it'll give kind of a cute finish to it, and then I don't have to worry about hemming the edges. So I finished sewing my bread bag. You can see the top hem is done, and I've sewn around the edge. This side is a fold with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and it doesn't go quite all the way up, but close enough that it will close the bag. So now I'm going to turn it right side out. Corners aren't perfect because I didn't clip them, but that's okay. I didn't want to cut off the zigzag edge and make streams appear. And here's my finished drawstring, and I've got a pin on the end so I can stick it through and thread it through my bag.